Have you ever felt like you're just on a hamster wheel? You're constantly trying to learn more, trying to keep up with everything, but you still feel like you're falling behind? Yeah, in a world that's just overflowing with information, it's a feeling I think most of us know really, really well. But what if the problem isn't how much you have to learn, but how you're learning it? That's exactly what we're going to break.
I mean, really, think about it for a second. How many hours have you poured into reading, watching lectures, studying, only to realize, maybe a week later, that you barely remember any of it? It's so frustrating, right? It feels like a colossal waste of the precious time we have.
So, what is the real culprit behind this struggle? You might think you know the answer, but the reality is often a lot simpler and, well, more solvable than we let ourselves believe.
Okay, let's get real for a second. We all tell ourselves these stories, don't we? I don't have enough time, I'm just not smart enough, or my memory is just bad. But the truth? Those are just symptoms, not the actual problem. The reality is it's probably an inefficient process, or your learning skills are just a bit untrained. And the good news? That's stuff you can absolutely change. It's not about who you are, it's about what you do.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. It's not about trying to find more hours in the day, it's about making the hours you already have count by stopping that endless cycle of learning and forgetting. So how do we actually do that?
Well, to fix the system, you first have to understand how it works. Think of your brain's learning process like a computer's operating system. It has two key functions: encoding and retrieval. Getting these two to work together in the right way, that's the secret to making knowledge actually stick.
First up is encoding. This is basically like stocking a library. When new information comes in, your brain has to figure out, okay, where does this go? How does this connect to everything else I already know? The more connections you make, the stronger and more organized that new memory becomes. You're not just throwing a book on a random shelf, you're putting it in the right section where you know you can find it later.
And then you have retrieval. This is the other side of the coin. This is knowing how to find that book when you actually need it. It's the act of pulling information out of your memory. It's what you do when you explain an idea to a friend, solve a problem at your job, or answer a question on a test.
Now here's the secret sauce, the part that sounds a little backward at first. We always think we should focus on getting information in, right? Better encoding. But the fastest way to see real improvement is to start by practicing getting it out. It's totally counterintuitive, I know. But focusing on retrieval first is like a workout for your memory. For example, instead of just rereading a chapter in a book, try closing it and summarizing the main points out loud. That's retrieval, and it gives you the most immediate, powerful results.
And if you need proof of why this is so critical, just look at this number, 90%. That's how much new information you can forget in just 24 hours. It's called the forgetting curve. And without actively trying to retrieve what you've learned, your brain is literally designed to just let it go. But, and this is a big but, this isn't a life sentence. It's just a default setting we can totally override. Every single time you actively pull a memory out of your brain, you send it a powerful signal. You're basically saying, hey, this piece of information right here, this is important. Don't throw it away. This act strengthens the memory, it makes it stickier, and it dramatically slows down that rate of forgetting. And what's really cool is that this isn't just about memorizing facts. The act of retrieving an idea actually forces you to connect the dots and structure your thoughts. That is the foundation of deep, long-lasting learning.
So, we know retrieval is key, but it goes even deeper than that. It's not just about remembering stuff, it's about how you remember it. You see, effective learning happens on two different levels, and most of us, honestly, get stuck on the first one.
So on one hand, you've got lower order learning. This is about collecting individual facts, like memorizing a definition for a test. It feels pretty easy, it's passive, but it's fragile. You forget it super quickly. On the other hand, you have higher order learning. This is about building a structure, understanding how all those facts connect to each other to form a bigger picture. It definitely feels harder, but this is where true, lasting understanding actually happens. And you know that feeling when something is just hard? When your brain kinda hurts a little bit from thinking? That's actually a good thing. It's a sign that your brain is engaged in that higher order thinking, forging those strong connections that lead to real mastery. So don't shy away from that mental effort. Lean into it.
Okay, this all sounds great, right? Practice retrieval, aim for higher order learning. But I know what you're probably thinking. Where am I supposed to find the time for all of this? That is a fair question. And the answer lies in something I like to call ruthless prioritization.
This little grid right here, it's called the Eisenhower Matrix, and it is a game changer. It's a simple tool to separate what feels urgent from what is actually important. See, most of us spend our days in the urgent boxes, putting out fires and responding to emails, but the real magic, the space where that deep, higher-order learning happens, lives right there in that important, not urgent box.
And here's the playbook for making this work. Start by scheduling time for your important, non-urgent goals first. Yes, you heard me, first. Before your calendar fills up, put that 30-minute block for practicing a new skill on there. Protect that time like it's gold. Then you can batch all the less important but still urgent stuff to get it out of the way and be absolutely ruthless about deleting anything that's just a time waster.
So, I'm going to leave you with this question. What are you going to do with this information? What's that one skill, that one topic, that one area of growth that's important to you but not yet urgent? Take a look at your calendar right now and schedule it. Because making time isn't about finding it, it's about